That cross stitch looks like it's filling out.
Oh, this is a different one because
Okay.
by the end of Galaxy, this is all I had done of the original one.
Well,
Wait,
it's
do
got
we want-
Bowser.
Are we showing off cross stitches?
Cross stitching takes forever.
This is what my wife made for me for my birthday.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
It,
So the
it
one-
took her a long fucking time.
The one I am now working on is
Oh shit, that's so cool.
Great.
my sister is having
I
a
will be right
baby
back.
in the next couple months, so I'm making this to put in the child's room
Uh,
because
how
that
old-
child will be a
when-
Pokemon fan, or I'll die
when is she due?
in July.
Okay, so my kid in theory the month before.
Does she want a Balin Wonderworld code as a
Yeah.
as a gift, baby
Uh,
shower gift?
No. You know what I tried to buy for a baby shower gift though? I wanted to get a Whooper plush. But Pokemon, everything on the Pokemon Center website is sold out all the time, always.
Pokemon plush are expensive.
Justin, your
They all
gameplay
are.
should be visible on stream now, and I believe they should be able to hear it
Yep,
too.
I can see it.
I'm viewing it.
All right. I hope
So,
they are, 'cause,
those of you in the call, I don't believe there's a way I can make you hear the sound, but that's fine.
Okay.
It's Mario.
Yeah.
You want
You
me
know
to
the
sing?
fun.
I've seen Mario.
I'm ready to just
I think you've heard Mario too.
watch a pro.
Wouldn't it be funny if it turns
I'm a
out
little
that
rusty, but,
Justin's actually really bad at this game?
Yeah,
And I'm
he, like,
gonna
dies
I'm gonna see if I can
first.
figure a way to get Justin's camera on stream consistently too.
We gotta get that long-haired wonder to stream more often.
Who are you talking
Yeah,
to?
my hair's getting pretty long.
Yeah. I mean, I guess both of you.
I think
I
everybody.
just haven't seen.
Well,
I've never seen
everybody-
Justin with shoulder-length hair.
Yes,
I know,
yes,
I
very-
haven't
it's
either.
flowing and majestic.
It's getting long. I will say that. It is.
Like once again, like I mean, I have a lot of hair here, but it just kind of like grows out as opposed to down.
Hang on,
Wait.
we'll do full John main. There we
Yeah,
go.
hair's getting long.
Oh no,
Paul-
he's cropping us out.
What was that,
No,
John
I'm not-
Lennon?
I'm not
Here we
cropping you
go.
out.
Luigi time, everybody. Luigi time.
That's. Oh, now there's many Justins. Look at all the
So many
Justins.
Justins.
Now there can be two Justins sometimes.
Too many Justins. Too many Justins.
How do we destroy one?
What? Come on, pro. You better win. Anybody want to do a donation challenge with me of how many times Justin wins?
I've been losing a lot tonight. I think everybody's on. So
Yeah.
Well,
I'm in.
let's say.
Do we want to say like we could do a dollar for every win? We could
Yeah,
do...
I think that's. I'll go in with you on that.
Yeah, I'll do
it. All right.
I'll do it.
Anybody in the chat want to go in on $1 for every time
Yeah.
Justin wins?
I don't know if that's gonna get me a lot, like lose me a lot of money or a little money, but I'll go with this.
To play a game, and I do
Yeah, I
work
think-
tomorrow. I'm not
yeah.
staying up too.
Yeah, sure. I'll pitch in for that. That's
Right, and this is only within this segment. If
Hour.
we keep playing more after this, that doesn't count.
yeah. It's just Justin.
Yeah, just Justin. So as someone who didn't really get too into the game, I don't know the intricacies of how it's played. So I understand that, like, obviously you're going through Mario levels, and I know that, like, you're kind of getting, oh, Kid A98, thank you for the follow, welcome to the stream. I know that you're kind of getting, items sent to you, like, sponsors in the Hunger Games, but past that, and I know that, like, every time you hit something, you get a little more time on the clock. Past that,
Yeah,
I don't
so-
really know a lot.
You get if you combo things like bouncing off them or hitting the shells or a lot of things, it adds more time. Like it's like a multiplier. You want to get a lot of coins though, because that's really in essence your health
Yeah.
in this game. Because you can spin a roulette and get an item that way. And if
Yeah,
you get
but it can be a star. It can be.
a power block, star, mushroom.
Yep. And having firepower is integral because that's how you can just pepper the firepower.
It's
Yep.
okay,
And then you lose it.
we're fine. And now you get to see some Luigi.
Was that? Did they add that later? Or was that always there that you could be?
You have to like unlock beat every level.
Ah, okay.
It's Luigi, and then there's like a little You hold L before you start a game.
So, by the way, sorry if it's weird to anyone to have like 2 Justin cameras, but I figured I wanted to like always have him visible, but I can't turn him off for the other one. Maybe I can. Can I?
I don't think so. Unless they
What
finally
are we
put out
down
the
to?
ability to opt out of video calls for certain things.
So you can opt out of a specific person's video.
Well, when did
Alright.
they bump up to 34?
What?
What's 22? 34 viewers.
Probably
Oh.
coming in for 35. We need to get to 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario
Yeah, we need one
35.
more.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost.
Tell you-
We lost 4 people.
No.
Why'd
I should have
you
said
ask the
anything.
question?
Guys, tell your friends we need 35 viewers.
Putting people on the spot. They're piecing out now.
Yeah,
Too much
wait,
pressure.
I'm important now?
Too many Justins. You.
Oh my god, that ruled, man.
By the way, thank God that this stream setup is working.
Yeah.
Because right now,
Yeah.
I have 2 instances of Discord, OBS, and Parsec all at once.
So can we all just real quick? I just want to give a shout out to Matt. Has obviously been like the MVP of this, being the person who
absolutely.
until now has played every single game because it just sort of worked out like that.
He needs a round of applause.
Cheers.
Just
I mean,
for,
what can I-
Mario Maker.
Yeah,
What can I
that's what
say?
did. I clapped.
What can I say? I like it when things are about me. Also, Alex, it looks like your camera's doing the split again.
I'm in Portal. It's like
He's doing it on purpose.
I'm not collecting a lot of
at this
coins
point,
here,
I've
I'm
just
not
accepted my
happy.
fate.
My coin count is not in a good spot, I will say that.
Justin, I gotta know, what controller are you using right now?
I'm using the Switch Pro controller.
Are you using tilt controls?
So for some reason, like, the way you asked that made me feel like you were asking him, who are you wearing on the red carpet?
I mean, yeah.
Justin, what you got on? You gotta tell me.
Who designed your controller, Justin?
Nintendo, but I also
Powerade.
So it's
Yeah.
modded
I just-
slightly.
You designed it.
Mods.
Wow.
Oh, that's
I gave it my own
cheating.
flair.
That's not tournament legal, Justin.
I think it would be because the D-pad's terrible.
So,
Yeah, but everybody has to have the same terrible D-pad.
so asking a little
Alright,
more
we're down to
about
9.
the gameplay strategy in this game. So I know at the top you've got the choices to who you want to target. I assume that's like when you get points with like killing the enemies that attacks other people. Is there any
Yeah, the enemies will be sent over to them.
Is there any
Yes,
particular strategy you want to go with? Because I know in Tetris 99, my personal opinion is that you want to start out targeting people that are close to death, and then you want to switch over to attackers if you start to get more medals. Is there a similar kind of strategy
I
here?
don't know the best strategy. What I try to do is just get as many people targeting me as possible, so all my junk goes to them because I can handle it most of the time.
hmm
So right now I have a lot of people targeting me. If you can see the lines.
And so,
Say
I just
no.
send out there to everybody.
Down to 8.
so when someone sends you Bowser, is that because they beat Bowser, or because because they just had like a big combo?
They beat Bowser.
Okay, so you're specifically stuff that getting sent to you is just whatever they're beating.
Yes. If
So-
anything, kinda
And then
like-
you start getting Bowsers at random times.
Yeah.
So, in other words, like these kind of these ghostly figures that represent the stuff that's being sent to you, there is like the number of those that are in the game at once doesn't go down.
I mean, there's probably a limit to how many could be on the screen at once, but
But like theoretically, like someone kills an enemy, it gets sent to you. You kill that enemy, it gets sent to someone else. So like obviously there must be some technological limit, but like at a design level, it never goes down.
We're at 34.
It's if he's
Nice.
got a
sending it.
KO.
I think when he
Sometimes
sends
I
them
think
to
that
the
like when a
attackers, it
person
goes to
dies,
everybody.
all the enemies on their screen kind of go with them because like there have been times like where you'll get to like the top 5 and it's like there are no enemies. Like the enemy economy has completely died and it's
Okay.
kind of gets boring. But there's other times where like
Following.
Yeah, Fat Platypus, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the
it's
stream.
too many. It's almost like
Um,
playing ping pong.
Yeah. It is one of the things that I think is kind of almost a fault of Super Mario 35 is that the end game takes forever.
Right.
But look at that glorious shit.
So it's not like Tetris where it just like
Oh, so Joe, the
The
stream still
longer
says we're
you-
playing Galaxy.
Oh god damn it!
You have one job.
Justin, what level are you?
I literally did have one
It says
job.
at the top left.
Alex, I don't know if you say if you happen to know Fat Platypus. They say that you're
No, I meant,
such a
like,
babe.
what level-
That's my
like,
friend
what
Zach.
rank are you?
Okay, that's your friend. Okay.
I don't know. 65 star.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you could prestige in this.
Twice.
But like, so it's not like Tetris where the longer you survive, just it's gonna get faster and faster and faster until eventually somebody's dead.
They do. Isn't there a time that you hit where like then the timer starts going down?
Yeah,
no
it's
matter what?
starting to speed up a little bit now. But
Yeah, it'll turn red when it's like really going down, and then if
Yeah.
you, there's also a thing where if you stand in place too long, then a little red exclamation point will appear, and it'll also like increase the time that's being
Yeah, like I
Fine.
really like this. I had a great week playing a lot of Super Mario 35, and then kind of actually won a couple times, and like kind of was like, well, that was fun.
Jeez, Justin, that's awesome.
Ooh.
it's not good.
Oh,
Yeah.
now you're in trouble.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, this is a bad setup.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many Lakitus. Oh god.
Those are the
Oh my
worst.
god, man.
Those and hamburgers.
I know it's like an NES game, but I'm honestly kind of surprised that all of that can run on Switch.
Yeah.
my
I feel like
gosh.
that's more of a dunk on Switch than it is.
So we are top
think
three
about
of top three of this game right now.
All right.
This is bad though.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
in an
you
awkward
seem-
spot here. There you go.
I'm running out
Oh,
of
there's
coins,
more.
which is very bad for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see the. Well, it looks. Yeah, there's one of the guy kind of to the right, not the lower right. He seems like he's set up nicely.
That's kind of what the game really is like just spend the majority of the time getting as many coins as possible, and then
I mean-
wait it out at the end.
I mean, it's a battle royale.
I wasn't
Yeah.
targeting the right people too. Oh, I got some more coins because I defeated that guy with the KO, so I got his
Up
coins.
two.
Oh, sweet, that guy's out. I think he got this, man.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh god,
This
yeah.
is it.
Now do what I would do and just jump into a random hole.
It happens.
Same, honestly.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Oh, oh,
Oh, God. No.
So many Lakitus on screen. There's so many Lakitus.
Yeah, how could you say this isn't awesome? Come on.
remember, this is for
I would-
charity.
I would like
I
this a
don't
lot more
wanna
if it was
play
a
this.
different Mario game.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily want to play this all the time.
Got it.
I should watch
Oh!
it.
Oh, GG, man.
First
that's
try.
All right, I'm going to donate my $1 for that.
I'm
I'm
gonna.
gonna wait-
Upstairs, I
Neil,
heated up
Neil, do you
food
want to
and
wait
came
till the
back.
end and we'll all
Yeah, I'm
Wait
donate
to the end
the
and do an
total?
accumulative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest way. Otherwise, I think credit card companies get a little suspicious if you just do a $1 donation
Fair.
over and over and
Right.
over.
That was pretty intense. I won't lie. There was some
That was
scary
That
parts.
was
in
touch
the
and go
game.
there.
When you were bouncing on Lakitu, that was awesome.
So is that on my end, or because I didn't
no,
really?
that was
No, no,
that
no,
was
no,
a
no,
little
no.
bit there.
Okay.
All right,
Sorry,
all right,
sorry.
I'm gonna try special battle now. It's a bit harder because I think right now it's every stage played in the order,
In order.
Super Mario Brothers is in. So you
Yeah.
could take the warp zones, everything like that. So
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I played a couple of that earlier.
So to clarify, just for a question that's in the chat, only Justin is playing right now. The rest of us are just watching, and I believe so. You said earlier you can't just make a lobby and then anyone that happens to be around can join. That's not a thing.
yeah, you can't do that, which is very disappointing. I think that would make this game way better. Well, that's just one
Yeah.
thing they could do.
Yeah, it's weird because Tetris 99 lets you do that.
That would be a great streaming game.
But they added that to it later. Maybe if Super Mario 35
Tetris-
wasn't
Tetris
dying in
29.
3 hours.
That's true.
What a guess.
So part of it, like, want to do this with us, but the other part, well,
Xander, I'm sorry. I think your internet's cutting out because like your video seems to have blacked out for me, and like you're kind of choppy. I can't really hear what you're saying.
No.
No, sorry. Justin, I feel with your raw skills, we kind of need you on the Twitch a little more often too.
But I mean, this game I've been playing since I was probably like 4 or 5 years old. So
I mean, it's only been around since September, but I go,
well,
yeah.
you know what I mean, the physics are very different in this too. So,
Yeah.
Oh, really? Are they
Oh,
floaty
yeah.
or how are they different?
you can bounce off of things very highly. You can't do that in the
Yeah.
original game.
Is it? No, it's different than the All Stars, right?
Definitely. All Stars is garbage. Don't play that.
Is it the same physics as Mario Maker?
It might be.
Could be.
It would be strange if it was like every version of Mario on NES just has like completely different physics.
What if when you get a job at Nintendo as a programmer, the first thing you have to do is make Super Mario Brothers from scratch?
Well, I think there are some levels in this that are slightly altered from the original version.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's by accident or on purpose or.
I imagine just the nature of the game would lend itself to you probably should make at least some small differences to the level design, but it's also.
Oh, guys, we're past 35 now. We're at 36.
Ooh. I imagine that there must be some people out there on Twitch just trying to find anyone that happens to be streaming the final hours of
Yeah.
Mario 35 too.
Yeah.
And they're just lucky to stumble on a Justin.
And
Yeah,
did you know
wait till
people
Justin
that
has
have
to
wandered
leave.
in here?
Oh, yeah.
There are
That'll be
players
unfortunate.
definitely better than me. I'm a bit rusty. I don't know the best strats. I mean, I only started playing again like a couple days ago. So.
Listen, Justin, you are definitely better than anyone else currently in this call. I can say that
Yeah,
with
100%.
Yeah,
confidence.
I think that's a safe assumption. to
Yeah.
say. So for all of you who are just joining us to watch this game die live before your eyes,
A live
No.
execution just like the old days.
Oh no.
That was just
Joe, Joe,
That's
you
that's
ruined
how
it.
I die.
that
you
happened.
can. So you can watch, or no, wait, if you. Sorry, hold on, my brain shut
we're
down for a
chat.
second.
What were you trying
so-
to plug? The charity or?
Yes, we are actually doing this stream not just to watch Mario die, but to help raise money for the Video Game History Foundation. You can actually get the link of where to donate to that if you type !donate in the chat.
And you can also
And
get
bam.
information on the Video Game History Foundation by typing !VGHF.
We're getting to the end, and I think we can make more money than we are. What are we at,
Yeah,
by the
We
way?
are at
We are at $391.
Oh, come on. We're $9 away from 400. Come on.
Our goal was initially 350, which thanks to
Yeah.
everybody. We passed that, and we set a new goal for $535.35.
So,
$35.35.
So also, yes, we did already play Fire Emblem. Mario 35 is going to be our final game of the stream, but we will post a VOD of this stream in some fashion. I'm not sure if we'll just put it on the YouTube like normal, because a 7 or 8 hour video probably won't be good for our analytics unless literally all of our subscribers watch it to the end.
Last
we'll-
charity stream we did, we put up the segments.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do each hour.
I mean, even like hour-long videos, most people won't watch. But we'll figure out. We'll figure out something.
It will be available to watch in some format.
It will not. It will not disappear.
Everybody die.
It will not
Hopefully-
disappear on March 31st.
Unlike some other things, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think this was terrible. So
Oh,
I think we
high
should do
praise.
more- I think we should do more charity things like it.
Well, I
Um,
agree.
And
Yeah,
so
Nintendo,
we'll
kill
prob-
off Link or something so we can do
Yeah.
another one of these.
That'll be
Hey,
next year.
it is his 35th anniversary,
Yeah.
so there's still time.
I will say
Yeah,
that this.
Samus is already dead.
I will say this is among.
Oh,
This is among some of the most fun I've ever had streaming. So
Wow, cool. So
yeah,
among.
I mean, we should
those
just
2
do more
streams of
streams
me
like
meant
this in
nothing.
general. I mean, Kingdom Hearts means nothing, man.
As long as Matt saves this setup,
Yeah.
and or at least writes down
so
everything you did.
as somebody that has been streaming games or Kingdom Hearts with Matt every week for the past few weeks, we have to re-figure out that setup every single time.
Well, that's just because Discord's weird.
Yeah.
But this isn't hard to figure out. It's like all the hard work I already did to do Kingdom Hearts. So this was just take what we did for Kingdom Hearts and make it bigger. A question in the chat. So will Nintendo re-release any of these games? So we did actually talk about this earlier, but that was like 5 hours ago. So I don't know if we want to talk about the subject again.
We can. We can real quick go back over that. I think that not right away. I think that the 3D All Stars games may show up individually on the eShop, but they'll all be more than $20. So if they're gonna sell these again, they'll sell them for a higher price than they've been selling them so far.
And Fire Emblem is gone.
Yeah, Fire Emblem's
Fire Emblem
gone.
sell.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem is completely gone from what I've talked to Nintendo about. I've told you guys earlier, but if you have a code that you have not redeemed from the special edition, they told me when it came out that it doesn't die.
But you will not be able to make a monetary transaction to Nintendo to receive Fire Emblem.
Yes.
I think it's the kind of thing where, I mean, like, this isn't going to be the last time that Nintendo's going to try to sell us Super Mario 64 or Sunshine or Galaxy. But I think in the form as Super Mario 3D All-Stars on the Nintendo Switch, it might be a long time before we see all three of those games. And Super Mario 35, which I still think is the biggest travesty over everything, because, like, you can, I mean, it's going to be maybe cost prohibitive, but you can find a physical copy of 3D All-Stars in the future. Super Mario 35 isn't going to be playable.
Yeah.
In 3 hours, you're not going to be able to play this video game. And that's nonsense.
That's actually that's kind of part of my incentive to have not played it, because like to some extent, yeah, I don't really like Mario 1 enough to really get into this, but it's also like I don't want to get invested in a game that has like such an immediate expiration date. The Fluzzard in the chat actually asks, what if Nintendo just pulls a fast one and says April Fools and doesn't get rid of anything? That's actually something that I commented on earlier too, where I have a weird opinion that I think that might be worse, because it is not to say that I think it is good that these games are going to go away. I think it is a very bad thing that they're just going to get rid of these video games. But they sold them on the premise of these games going away. And people
Mario
bought
35 they can sell, really.
Well, yeah, Mario 35, if that stayed up, I think that was a good thing. But 3D World,
I think that Mario,
like 3D World, people bought 3D World on the premise that it was going to disappear. And if that premise turns out to have been a lie, like
3D All-Stars.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, 3D All-Stars. Yeah, they sold that on the premise that it was going to disappear. So if that turns out to be a lie, then that's a bigger problem to me. And it's like, and it's like, it's kind of a matter of like, well, from my perspective, it's a no-win scenario. And like, yeah, I'll openly admit there's nothing they can do to forgive that'll get me to forgive this, because they already made the mistake. They already screwed up.
They've already made their bed. Now they got to sleep in it.
Yeah. And so like, I think it's very bad that these games are going to go away. I think it would be even worse if it turned out it was a lie just to get us to spend more money.
I mean, that's why they did it, and I also think it's the kind of thing where that's what was really successful. So, I mean, Zelda's 35th. Can't wait to play Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker or Twilight Princess or whatever, and watch as they kill that off March 31st, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
At least it gives us excuses to do more streams.
Yeah,
that's true.
So thank you, Nintendo.
So if they do that for Zelda games and Zelda's 35th next year, get ready for us to do another stream for the Video Game History Foundation. And
we could also just hang the first 20 minutes of every Zelda game.
And as someone pointed out in the chat, we'll try to do the original Four Swords, which was available for free on the DSiWare, and they brought it back for like 1 weekend, and that's not available anywhere unless
I think it came back
well,
one other time for some other promotion too.
Streaming DS and 3DS stuff is a whole other beast.
Boy, that's gonna be fun when we get to that in Smash Your Pieces.
Well, yeah, cool, because I tried it for Star Fox, and I have I have a not Nintendo approved 3DS, is how I'm gonna say that. And like I was able to like hook up something where it's like you can stream wirelessly from the 3DS directly to your PC, and it worked really well until I got to the Andros boss fight that had crazy graphic effects, and then
and then the frame rate became non-existent.
But the problem is that is the only way that I have to stream a 3DS game. So what do we do?
Another win there, guys.
Another holy.
Hey, guys!
Hot damn.
We're up to 401.
Wow.
401.
Hey.
Yeah, Vixie says in the chat it's also harder to get streaming mods for 3DS too. Like,
Yeah.
Can I hop
Oh,
on?
you
real
have
quick?
to like pay somebody to put it
Soapbox.
together.
And a
Too.
lot of the people who originally did it, like, don't do it anymore.
yeah.
Mm.
I know. I think it was Katsukitty was the name of like the big one, and they don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So you just kind
Yeah,
of
So that's for
can't.
everybody that's a part of the donating $1 for every time Justin wins. We're now up to $2.
$2. So
Yep.
how? So I'm gonna do that. Is there anyone in? I just think I not to shame anyone. I just think it'll be easier to count this way. Is there anyone in this call not doing that?
I mean,
Oh, in
I
this
haven't
call?
been doing
In
it
this call.
online, but I don't know.
Well, Justin doesn't have to do it. He's doing the hard work.
I mean, he can.
I could do it. Yeah, just give me the link.
Just like what's our numbers? Because that's if there's like
Justin starts
8 of us-
jumping down holes to save money.
there's like there's like 7 of us in this call right now. So if that's $14 at the moment. If that's our numbers, and plus anyone in the chat that happens to be doing it too.
And we
Yeah, I know,
still
I've
we
seen-
still
I've
have
seen
half an hour.
At least a person or two in the chat say that they were gonna join
Yeah.
in on that. So
Yeah.
It's
we
going
still
to a
we
good
still have
cause.
about half an
Alright.
hour of this.
I do want to
specific
point out that
thing.
the New Day has started in Super Mario 35, so technically this game is running on April 1st. where
yeah.
I am.
Whoa.
Yep.
Hot damn.
We are,
I
we're in technical
lives.
overtime.
I do think that the shutoff time is going to be midnight Pacific.
Yeah, I do
yeah,
too.
just
see.
for the people just joining in the chat, we're going off of that. The time on that special battle goes until midnight
Yeah.
Pacific time, so we're assuming that is the kill switch.
Uh,
I'm just scrolling through some stuff now in case you can't see it, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get to at least the menu.
yeah. Unfortunately, this is the final day that Mario 35 is playable, that's part of why we're here for the Video Game History Foundation. It's like obviously none of us are very on board with that kind of thing. That's just this is a game that's just going to stop existing, and
Am I coming through? Am I coming through clear now?
yeah,
Yes,
you're good
you
now.
Justin, you're freaking amazing, dude.
But
Oh, yeah, look,
When
Yeah,
you
I got
were jumping on those Lakitu, like just bouncing on them without any power ups, I was like, oh my god.
So the Video Game History Foundation, we're here for them because they are kind of an organization that is all about preventing this, reversing this. They do a lot of work to keep historical references for video games, both the games themselves and also other materials related to them, such as like game manuals, design documents, press kits, just stuff related to the history of video games, because they operate under the idea that everything is worth preserving in some form. Everything is worth remembering, both good and bad. And in this case, there's a lot of good that is disappearing tomorrow. So
And real quick, Carmine is in the chat there saying that since we hit 401, he's going to pick out another prize winner. You can win prizes. We have a prize pool. You can win stuff if you do stuff.
Chiron knows the details. I don't.
Yeah, Chiron has the details. I don't actually know how we're figuring out the giveaway.
Go
I don't
to,
know the prize though.
Go to NintendoWorldReport.com, click on the Super Mario Farewell Tour image at the top of the site, and that'll take you to the article for this stream. And if you scroll down, you'll find some links to get in on some giveaways. So just sign up there. You do not have to have donated to get in on the giveaways. It is just free stuff that we are giving out while we hang out. So go do that.
But
Yeah.
also, you should still donate, even if
You
that
should-
doesn't help you
You
get a
Just
should
prize.
donate.
Piggyback off of what we've been saying, the Video Game History Foundation has an interesting history with even this game that we're playing right now. Frank Cifaldi wrote an entire article about the fact that we don't know when Super Mario Brothers came out.
That
the
is true.
actual certain
Okay,
release date.
Nintendo has sort of, I don't know if this is a new thing, picked a release date because on a
I think it's
Articles
more
in
that they
chat.
picked it.
because on a T-shirt they released one of 85 of which I obtained at the Nintendo New York store for Mario's 35th anniversary. On the sleeve of this shirt, they have a date.
Huh.
associated
Yeah,
with
just
Brothers.
to some extent, an official date like that does matter, but it's also like it's kind of worth noting that like we just kind of have to take them at their word for that, and like the fact that we haven't known for so long kind of leads me to believe that they just kind of picked one.
Well, there's
Yeah,
also
and that would also be Nintendo New York, so that would be a U.S. release date, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that's the
and
release
there's
date we're
also
talking.
like there's
Oh, we're
also
aware of that.
a lot of NES games have that issue where there's a lot of NES games where we know the month and the year, but we don't have an exact date. Sometimes we don't even have the month.
Well, and in all fairness, a lot of games from that era didn't have release dates.
Yeah.
They were sold when the
They just
shipment
showed
got
up.
to the store.
Yeah, I
so
remember when
it's-
Virtual Boy came out, it didn't have a date, and I just had to keep calling every store till one got one, and it wasn't like
I
a
mean, that
hard
was also even just the way distribution worked. There wasn't
Mhm.
really. It would be like, I remember even having to deal with it. I want to say it was GameCube and Wii, where the dates that would be announced would be shipment dates.
Yes.
So like, I think I recall for
Mm.
like, I want to say it was probably like Eternal Darkness was like its date was like June 20th, but it actually didn't go to a store near me until like the 25th.
Well, I think the problem was, Neil, those were release dates. It's just that was also the shipment date.
Yeah.
So they just kind of lined up. But when stores do get them earlier, and it wasn't the day that they had in their ad flyer, they'd be like, "Well, we can't sell it before release date."
Yep.
It's like, well, it is release date. You got
Yeah.
it like early, and then it become a huge argument from people like myself who are like, "No, I know what I'm talking about." Just because like your company decided to put an ad out that said you're not going
Yeah.
to sell it on this date.
I know there's some stuff where, I mean, stores, I agree with you, it's also kind of in stores' right that if they want to hold product for a date that they have marketing towards,
And it's
really,
it's
nothing wrong with that. It's just a little shitty.
I think it's interesting to kind of like have this conversation too, because it's very easy to look at something like a release date and be like, well, I mean, is that a big deal? Does it really matter that we don't know the exact day? And I think that it's still kind of, the small stuff still kind of matters, because when it comes to stuff like history, this is true of like big world history, but it's also true of like the smaller industry histories like this. The small stuff leads you to find some bigger stuff. Like a conversation of, do we know Mario's release date, leads to learning more about how, well, some things didn't really have release dates. It was just a reality of how the industry was different. And that is part of why this history is so important to preserve, I think, because there are so many small details that can hide big stories. And you see that like every time something is discovered in this vein. Every time like you can find like a ROM dump that happens to have been preserved off of like, a convention demo disc from decades ago.
The Space World Pokemon demo.
Yeah, and like from that you learn so much about that game's history. You see like it, to exactly what to what extent was the Kanto region from Gen 1 going to be in Gen 2 at first, and it turns out it's going to be pretty small. Babylonian006, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. But it's
Kelsey's in chat. She's from VGHF. Just wanted to say hi to her.
Hello, Kelsey.
Thank you for
So-
doing what you do.
So yeah, it's stuff like that is why it's why we're doing this. I think it's really big and really important, because there's so much knowledge that can be lost because it's not profitable to hang on to it. And that
there's a lot of weird stuff too. Like I collect a lot of Nintendo merchandise and stuff, and stories behind that, and there's information from that you can pull about how Nintendo was kind of like telling companies how to work with their characters and whatnot. You can see that how that's changed over time. So there's like a hidden history.
It's incredible that you are able to sound that eloquent while playing Mario.
I think
While
one of
playing Mario 35 well.
like not
Yeah.
not so much related to like Mario really, but I really love when we learn about games that like almost happened to the point where there's a prototype, like the Resident Evil Game Boy Color port, where like, yeah, there's a playable prototype here, or there was a GBA version of 2, wasn't there? That was in the works, at least pitched.
There was so you might be, and there may have been, you might also be thinking of the Blue Roses tech demo, which was a very impressive 3D engine.
Of which game? Sorry.
Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
Game Boy
Yeah.
Advance.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
Yeah,
but there's
they did that and Metal Gear Solid. And the
Yeah.
only reason I know this is because it's the engine that ran Wing Commander Prophecy on Game Boy Advance, which is an awesome game.
John's got a
Like, you
brand.
go-
Kind of crazy
Yeah.
how much we still don't know that, like, I guess the companies do know. Like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, like the Star Fox thing that just came out, or all that stuff that was in the Nintendo theft from last summer.
Yeah, Fat Platypus just brought it up in the chat actually. Dinosaur Planet, the ROM that just got discovered. We learned a lot about like when exactly Star Fox became a part of that game. Star Fox became a part of that game before it became Star Fox Adventures. That's
that we did not know that Fox was in that game on N64 until this year.
Yeah.
And we're
It's
still, as
fascinating.
we're going through that game, we're still learning so much about that game. And even just not, specifically about Star Fox Adventures or Dinosaur Planet, but it's an insight into how the development of that
five?
game went.
We're at 4th.
We're at 4th.
Yeah, this is not looking good. I will say that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff
Oh,
like that, just it
get
gives
some
a
coins,
really interesting
man.
insight into how all that stuff works and what the development course of that game was.
Yeah, and I think it's easy. Like obviously a big part of like what we're talking about now is like knowledge and history, but it's easy to see like how this stuff isn't preserved well when you can even see companies not treating like the games themselves behind closed doors very well, because you look at the Silent Hill HD collection, and the HD collection for Silent Hill was kind of a mess. It was really buggy, and like a lot of the game just didn't work. And the reason for that was because
let me sit you down for a second, because this is my birthright to talk about this one. The Silent Hill HD collection was an HD remaster, quote unquote, of Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill 2. Both very good games, one better than the other, being 2, but both very good games in my opinion. So when Team Silent, the team that made 1, 2, 3, and 4, was disbanded after Silent Hill 4, which is a bad game, by the way, don't play it. They threw away all of the source code for both of those games.
Yeah, there was this whole belief of video games being a disposable medium for a while.
Animation style, like once
It's similar to that. And there's some company like... And that's weird with Silent Hill, though.
They threw away the Gold Masters specifically.
Jesus.
So they were just gone. And so when they went to the studio and were like, hey, we want you to remaster Silent Hill 2 and 3, they said, okay, where are the Gold Masters? And they said, we don't have them. Here's like a pre-release build. And that's why it sucks, because they were forced to work with a version of the game that was not done.
So just a comment on how recently that stuff can happen. That also happened with at least one of the Ninja Gaiden games in the Ninja Gaiden collection.
Well, it also
is a later what I think it's the Vita version. I don't remember exactly.
Are you
the story,
just waiting
but the
it out?
original version they don't have anymore.
Wow.
I was in trouble. Second place. Sorry.
Another example I know of that happening relatively recently is when Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD happened. They went to go remaster the first Kingdom Hearts and found out that most of the assets were gone.
Yeah.
So they had to basically remake they pulled what they could out of other Kingdom Hearts games, but for the most part, they basically had to remake all of the assets of that game from scratch.
Yeah.
That's
So-
crazy. You think about like the games coming out now. Are they being preserved? Like presumably.
It depends on the company. Like I do think something like the Giga Leak with Nintendo, and I guess
Nintendo seems to be
they actually do, like, Nintendo's thing is that they seem to actually preserve their stuff. They just don't show it to anybody or share it with anybody.
Starting at which point? I want to know how far back.
That is true.
Well,
I don't know when they started.
the stuff in that leak was for like Super Nintendo games.
Yeah, but I want stuff even older.
Yeah, but like we don't
sure.
we don't know how good the 80s are, but it does seem like by the time you did roll over to the 90s, like Nintendo's pretty good about it. I mean, that's a stark contrast to companies like Square Enix working with Disney in 2003 or whatever. that don't have the original stuff. Like, Nintendo generally has access to that. Are they making the best use of it? Wii U Virtual Console would say maybe not.
Yeah.
But
and they're certainly not making it public either.
Yeah, which I don't think it's necessarily... It might not be the responsibility of, like, Nintendo, a private company, to share, Super Donkey Kong sprites. Like, that's...
They are
that's
fully
the kind of
within
thing.
their rights to not do that.
It's
And it's
cool
kind
to
of
see
shitty
that.
the way we learn about it is from people hacking. Because, like, let's be real.
Man, I miss Iwata Asks.
Like,
Oh,
God,
yeah.
Iwata Asks was so good. Like,
That Iwata book's out next month, I think.
it should be noted.
Oh, yeah, that is.
We are in no way speaking in support of you should hack Nintendo to get the stuff. No, don't do that. It's still kind of shitty.
Yeah, that leak was not
didn't
done
call
in a
it that,
good
like
way.
Yeah, that it was stolen, just straight up.
Yeah.
I think we could just say that.
And I do think someone said, Zelda Slasher said in the chat, why is Nintendo so stingy with making their games available? I don't really think they are. Like, for some, like GameCube games, for example, like, it'd be cool to have a GameCube Virtual Console, but like, I know that the Nintendo Switch apps do not have everything we'd ever want. Some of that is because, like, sorry, Capcom's not going to put the Mega Man games on it that you can also buy in a collection that they made. It's a very good collection for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And like,
but also like the Nintendo ones, like, no, like, you can play like kind of the relevant Mario canon on Nintendo or like from NES and Super Nintendo. Okay, Super Mario RPG isn't there yet. That's also accessible through other means. Like, Virtual Console, when it was an active thing on Wii, like, that went deep. Like, we got to play Sin and Punishment, a game that did not come to America on Virtual Console. That was incredible. Like, I never would have played that game, and we arguably never would have gotten the Wii sequel, which is fantastic.
I think
on NSO, we've never gotten that released in America.
I think Nintendo in particular gets a lot of flack for it for two reasons, I think. I think the first reason is because they kind of accidentally set the bar kind of high with Virtual Console. And that goes back to what I was...
Wii Virtual Console was magical.
That kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, where it's just not profitable for to do this kind of thing. And and they just didn't know at the time how not profitable it would be.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at Sony. Guess what? If there was a good reason for them to keep up the PS3, PSP, and Vita stores, they would have done it if there was money involved. But sad reality,
there's
not.
The thing with Sony is, like, yeah, Nintendo gets a little frustrating sometimes when, like, why can't I play N64 games on the Switch yet? But, like, whatever. At least it's not that one guy at Sony who was like, I went to a Gran Turismo event. And
you mean the guy who's running Sony?
Yeah,
Jim Ryan.
Yeah, I sure do.
Jim Ryan's his name.
Like, I saw all these games. They had Gran Turismo games from the PS1 and PS2, and they looked ancient. And I was like, why would anybody want to play these? And also, I seriously hate that the thing that he said with that was like, well, we believe that when we put in backwards compatibility, people don't really use it. There have been like 2 consoles with backwards compatibility,
and not even all of them. Like, okay, well, I mean, the PS2, aka like the most successful system of all time.
Yeah, PS2 could play PS1 games, and some PS3s could play PS2 games. And that's it.
I want to point out, I mean, just as far as the stuff with Nintendo, and I think it does illuminate some of the business side of the limited release games. It's a quote from a story that Patrick Klepek did last year over at Vice.com. He highlighted it today on Twitter of saying that a developer who's been involved with publishing several games on Switch, who has to remain anonymous, of course, they said they have data that shows that re-releases of games tend to wither on wish lists. Which is probably true, because you think about it, like, if you're going, I mean, maybe some of us are wired differently. I know, like, I bought that Neo Geo Pocket Color Collection when it came out, kind of knowing that I'm not really going to play a lot of those games, but I'm just like, this is super cool that this exists. Not everybody's like that, and, you know, getting some of these retro collections, like, not always super high sellers. Like they're super cool.
Mm-hmm.
The Sega
well,
Classic
that'll-
selection earlier
Yeah.
on in the life cycle.
That kinda- That kind of bookends the first point that I was trying to make. I do kind of want to get to the second point too, but like the first point that I was making, that it's just not profitable. That at the end of the day, that's a company's first priority, profit. And
Yeah.
you look at Skyward Sword, and the first thing everyone complains about is that they priced it in a way where they want to make a profit. Like,
Well, guess what? If you want to see Skyward Sword come back, that's kind of how it has to be.
Yeah.
You need to make money.
and like, am I endorsing that? No. I would prefer a world where that's not how it works. I would prefer a world where these
Yeah.
things are available because that's how it should be, and profit is not the primary motivation for literally everything that they do. But unfortunately, that is the world that we are in.
Yeah.
But to make
So-
those profits, they don't get to make all the great games that we see. So profit
Yeah.
has to be part of it.
Making
Yeah.
games costs money. They need to make
Yeah.
money.
And
it
so,
is, I wish that game companies would be able to see it more in the lens of legacy and furthering the medium as opposed to raw profit.
yeah.
Because we do, I feel like, and I probably fall into the trap a lot, and sometimes be the corporate apologist, or just like seeing like, no, I understand why a company that wants to make money would do a thing, even if I disagree with it. But maybe Nintendo does need to give more of a shit about the legacy of the industry, the legacy of their games, which I think in some cases they do. I just think that it's often at odds with the business end of it, and a
Mhm.
lot of
And
other companies are far worse about it.
Yeah, and
I think the main reason that Nintendo gets a large amount of the flack for it is that they have more beloved properties than any other company.
Yeah.
and
That
that
was
is
something I was
that
gonna say too.
that is exactly the second point that I was going to make, because think about Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, it's got third-party characters now, and those are like a big part of like the excitement, but it is still overwhelmingly a crossover of Nintendo games. Is there a single other company that could make Smash Brothers? Like,
No,
Sony tried.
yeah, Sony tried.
Sony tried and did a bad job at it.
Remember
Capcom
that-
is kind of up there,
Hmm.
and they've done Capcom versus
They always,
games.
yeah, they always need another company to
Yeah,
back it up.
they always
Yeah.
they always put it alongside. You know, you got Capcom, you have Tatsunoko, you have SNK.
I just don't
Mhm.
think the Capcom stuff and all that stuff is mainstream enough to really pull in.
No.
Well, yeah,
I
because that's
agree.
the other thing is that Nintendo, like everybody knows who people who don't play video games know who Mario is.
Yeah, and it's
People who
like
don't play video games know Donkey Kong.
I look at Marvel vs.
They don't
Capcom.
know- they don't know fucking Mega Man.
I look at Marvel vs. Capcom, and like, yeah, I know the whole Marvel side because the MCU is like the big thing right now. But I look at the Capcom side, and it's like, I would say that I am significantly more knowledgeable in the video game industry than the average person is, and I still don't recognize every character in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Well,
Yeah.
it also doesn't help that both Sega and Capcom have a really cool habit of not using any of their fucking franchises. Where's a Darkstalkers game in Capcom?
Yeah,
And man, Captain Commando, wasn't he in it? Thanks, Small Paul.
I think Captain Commando is in MVC2. I don't think
Yeah,
he was in
yeah, it was-
3 or
and it's like for
Okay,
Smash,
yeah, no, I just remember Captain Commando being in one of the Versus games. I did not remember which.
and for Smash Brothers, the like, I haven't played every video game that is represented in Smash Brothers, but the last
Not
time, yeah, not yet, but the last
did we-
time
did
that
we
a
Did we thank Small Paul for?
we did, yeah. Neil managed to sneak it in there to the sentence he was already saying. But yes, Small Paul, thank you for the follow. Like, yeah, I haven't played every game represented by Smash Brothers, but the last time that a character was announced for Smash Brothers that I legitimately did not know who they were, I was 13 years old. That, like,
Ew.
it was Ike in Brawl, a Fire Emblem character.
So
Uh,
how did you know who
for
Roy
me-
was?
I
You know
didn't.
who Lucas was?
Okay.
So
Well, yeah,
for
no,
me,
he said
for
since
me
he
it
was
was
13. He didn't
Okay,
say
I
it
was
the only
thinking
time.
14. Okay.
for me.
Well,
Smash-
Mother 3 was kind of like that legendary status already, so I did kind of know who Lucas was.
Well, like I didn't
I
know.
really
I
know
didn't
who
know
Lucas was other
didn't
than
know
like
who
the
Snake
Ness of
was.
another game.
For me, that's how I learned about Snake. I hadn't played any Metal Gear games up to that point. I learned
That's
about
how I
Snake
learned about
because he was in
Joker.
Brawl. I learned about there was another character that like I had absolutely no idea who the hell they were. I mean, the Fire Emblem characters from Melee and Brawl, obviously. But there was something else. As a kid, I don't think I knew that F-Zero existed. I just knew that Captain Falcon was cool.
I
I miss
definitely
F-Zero.
thought Samus was Iron Man.
Yeah,
when the
no!
original Smash Bros came out.
John, you and me are about the same age. We are exactly the right age to have grown up in a time where we had Smash Brothers, but there wasn't a Metroid game that had been released recently.
I never played. Metroid Prime was the first Metroid game that I played.
Yeah.
Because I was
The funny thing
a
is-
little bit too young for Super Metroid, and there wasn't anything on 64. So
I didn't
Samus
know
in
who,
Super Smash Bros was just Red Person.
Yeah.
I didn't know who Meta Knight was before Brawl because the only Kirby game I
You
played up
didn't-
to that point was
You telling me you didn't watch Kirby Right Back at You?
Oh,
No.
right back
I'm
at you
pretty
again.
sure-
If you're not
I
familiar with the
played
Kirby
the snot out
Cinematic
of Kirby
Universe,
Superstar.
the only Kirby game I had played up to that point is Kirby
Gotta get
64,
that Kirby.
in which Meta Knight does not show up.
I am pretty sure I discovered that Samus was a woman by reading her trophy description.
Yeah.
in Smash
I
Brothers.
think so
Like,
too.
so
But-
I
okay,
guess, are
so
Justin and I the only
Two-
two people who had played a Metroid game before Super Smash Bros. On 64?
I'm as old as Super Metroid, I think.
when did Super Metroid come out?
94.
Okay.
I'm 1 year older than
I'm
Super
2
Metroid.
years
Actually,
older.
same.
Yeah, I was 2 when it
For me,
came out.
Weirdly, I played NES Metroid. I had not played Super Metroid yet.
No, I remember playing the original Metroid at a friend's house at the time, and then I got it for Christmas, and I was like kind of disappointed because I'm like, I don't understand how to even play this game. I remember playing it. I mean, at the time, it was very different when you think about it.
NES Metroid is so impenetrable when you play it with your little. I loved the style and the music of it, but I never got far into it until I could go on the internet and look up a map.
Anyways, we are coming up on the 12:30 mark, which means this is probably the last official run in the dollar per win. So can Justin pull off another win? 'Cause he's
wow, his timer's
Up there.
flying. Ah!
Well, now
Down
I
to the
can
final
trust him.
3.
I'll
Oh,
extend
God.
my own personal stake to as long as Justin is here playing the video game.
I personally plan to be gone shortly after 12:30.
Yeah. No, I'll
We
do
should
the same as-
probably talk about the upcoming 2 streams that are still on the schedule before I leave. So I can-
That's true because you're on the hook for both of them.
sure am.
We'll let this run end first, though.
Oh yeah, no, I don't plan on doing anything until.
Hopefully, a first place run. He's got a lot of coins, and it's down to the last 2.
Oh, yeah.
How many
Although
wins do we have?
the other guy still has a good amount of coins left too.
Yeah.
I forget what each coin represents, how many they have.
I don't know.
I didn't realize until now that you could see those coins on other people's screens.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yay!
That's our boy. That's our boy.
3, right?
That's
I think
3.
that's gonna be my retirement
3, baby.
match.
All right.
Mm.
Go out on top. And actually,
Well
just within
done.
A minute. A minute.
Well done, Justin.
That was excellent. All right.
Hopefully my playing was good. I had a few mess ups,
So
some
that's
close
3
games,
wins?
but
As a
We got 3 wins.
Yeah,
as
give
a
me the
real
link,
as a
so,
real quick response to Zelda Slasher in the chat mentioning that the reason that they wish that Nintendo wasn't so cagey with their legacy content is basically because those games have been getting super expensive in the resale market, and that I think is the most frustrating thing of
Mhm.
like, hey Nintendo, I want to give you money for this game. You genuinely will not let me. You are refusing
To be fair,
Well,
if
like,
you're- if the concern is the resale market, I don't think Earthbound hitting a console or being available elsewhere. What was it? It was on Super Nintendo, 3DS Virtual Console. It was on the Super Nintendo Classic. That didn't really drive down the prices of Earthbound cartridges.
It didn't.
Yeah,
It didn't. But now that cartridge isn't the only way you can play it. Legitimately.
Yeah, like I agree with that. I'm just saying if the goal is you want to buy physical copies of games, them releasing stuff digitally isn't really going to change that. But if your goal is you want to play those games that are expensive, then yes.
and I think that's the most frustrating part of 3D All-Stars going away, because you can play Mario 64 in like 300 different places. You can play Galaxy on
You can't
Wii
play
U.
Chibi Robo anywhere, I'll tell you that.
But Sunshine, this is the only
should've
time
brought
they've
the
ever
Flash, it's good.
released Sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have to wonder if the reason that they are pulling the All-Stars is because this way they have the option to remaster those on the Switch, since the Switch is looking like it's going to have a longer than normal lifespan.
Yeah.
We
It would
honestly
be
have
so
no
messed up
idea.
If like 2023, they're like, hey, guess what? We did a full remake of Sunshine.
Oh my
And you're
god.
like, well,
Exactly.
You say it'd be messed up, I would be delighted.
Oh yeah, I would go on that.
You're saying I can
vacation.
have
Yeah,
two
but you like-
copies
I
of
would be delighted
Sunshine on
too.
my Switch?
I think that's
Star
what they're
Fox,
doing.
you like Star Fox Zero. You don't get to talk.
I just like having fun.
Yeah, it's like to your point though about how like games like you want to have access to them. Like Sunshine's kind of an odd case in that like it was on the GameCube till now, and now it's going to be on the GameCube, but just the GameCube again. It's like, sure, okay, this sold 8 million copies, I think, but
And, like,
you still can't buy it anymore unless you go to one of the off market.
And like some other, there are a lot of GameCube games that are like that. Like you can't go buy Melee right now.
Yeah.
No, Melee's
yeah.
GameCube
Melee's
is also
gone.
like on its way up its mountain of value.
I will say,
Yeah, you
can
keep-
get
That's
a
a racist.
Can't even like.
pre-owned copy of Super Mario 3D All Stars at GameStop for $48. You can also buy it brand new.
I don't think that's going to be
And
a
actually,
really fair game, because
humorously,
No, I agree.
at least for now, you can still buy a digital code for Super Mario 3D All Stars on GameStop's website.
I wonder
because
if they have a
actually,
bunch.
I
They
would
may
imagine how
have
that
a
would work
bunch.
is that I think Amazon also sells digital codes. A couple of stores, online stores do.
Yeah, they're given a stock of digital
Yeah.
codes. And
So-
like,
You'll
It
still be
depends
able
on
to-
whether those codes are active before they sell them.
They probably are. I mean, speaking to Justin's point of him reaching out to Nintendo's customer service and being like, "Hey, this Fire Emblem code that I have, like, can I use that after March 31st?" And the answer was yes. I think it might be the same way because I think those codes kind of exist. I'm not sure the exact process, but I think
I
it
know,
works where,
with like the
code will work.
if I know that at least with the like money cards like eShop, PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, those cards don't.
they
the
activate
store-
those cards when you buy them.
They have to be activated. The store doesn't even pay for them until they sell them.
Okay.
Like they're literally
I
just a piece of paper.
think the download
Right.
codes might work differently.
And
but
they
I'm
may,
not-
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure, but I think they do.
Because reminder that like sites can run out of download codes for
Yeah.
games. Like they can actually run out of stock for codes. And
There was a while
that sounds really silly, but it also
Marvel
kind of makes sense.
Ultimate Alliance 2, I think, isn't available for sale anymore. But there was a while where you could buy a download code for it, despite the fact that it was like taken off a shop. Or maybe it was like there were some Marvel games that I think when like Activision lost the rights to Marvel that they're no longer on stores, but you could go and find a download code. I think the same thing for like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, which is a pile of shit. But there used to be places where even though that was taken off the store, you could still buy a download code and it would work.
Yeah, so it's not, and also to your point about GameStop, knowing GameStop, that price will go up. I don't trust GameStop
I mean, they
as
can
far
only-
as I can throw them.
It's so the difference between this and something like Xenoblade, where it was an extremely limited production run and GameStop had all of them, is that like even on a distributor level, there are unshipped copies of 3D All Stars.
Yeah.
Like it may
But
be
was
out
it-
of production, but it's not. It's you could
Wasn't
a
there-
store can still order new stock of it because they produced so many of them. Like this
there
is
was a
not a rare
rumor-
game.
There was a rumor, I don't know if this actually ended up being substantiated. Some of you will probably know better than I do. But there was a rumor that internally, like, Nintendo was straight up taking physical copies that were unsold off shelves from the Nintendo store. Specifically
Maybe
from
from the
stores they
Nintendo.
own.
Sure,
Well, yeah,
from the
they
Nintendo
can't-
store. Yeah,
They can't go
absolutely.
to GameStop and be like, no, you take them off the shelves. They're not gonna, they don't have any reason.
And, you,
Uh,
and then what Nintendo does is they hang on to them for a few years and wait to sell them on eBay still sealed.
So I think we should.
Or it's like
I think we should figure out what the shape of this stream now is gonna be. So I think Justin, you said you were going to call it there, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna call it there. I mean, it'd be nice to get 3 more wins to get 100, but I gotta go to bed soon, and I'd like to go out on top and not spend like another hour trying to grind out.
So, John, do you want to pick up the mantle, or does it look like
I can play for a bit? Are you hoping to play this thing to death?
Ideally, but
does anybody else want to stay up?
I am not staying up that late, but I will stay up longer than right now.
I unfortunately just now took my meds
Did you get
that
that
make me
shirt
go
at
to
Nintendo
sleep.
World?
Yeah,